business and protect our citizens and our law enforcement and first responders every step of the way, God, as they go out and do your work. God, I ask all these things in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Chris Brown, will you do the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And was I supposed to do roll call before the pledge?
No,
or-
it's fine.
Okay.
You did a roll call.
Please.
Commissioner Mays,
Here.
Commissioner Foster,
Here.
Commissioner Vandegrift,
Here.
Commissioner Val,
Here.
Commissioner White, here. Commissioner Wells is absent right now, and Commissioner Bochamp,
Here.
and Commissioner Smallridge.
Here. Okay, we have a quorum. Robbie, cash and fund balance report.
Cash and fund balance ending December 31st, 2023. Restricted funds are, I'm talking to this, I guess, sorry. Restricted funds are 1.5 million, committed funds are 1.2 million, assigned funds 3.7 million, and unassigned fund balance is 10.8 million. Total fund balance 17,427,525, and cash is 14,895,472, which is down from last November, but I can explain that. Our sales tax, not sales tax, I'm sorry, our property tax collections ending December this year were 3.9 million. Last year they were at 6.4. But our mortgage import usually comes in. So what happens is people that have equity that pay mortgage, they send it to a third party and then it comes into the trustee as in one lump sum. It didn't make it before December this year.
Okay.
And we still haven't gotten it, but that's the reason for the shortage. So January will show a bigger increase, and that's why cash is down, or cash would have been up. So it was just because of that mortgage import that the trustee's office didn't receive. And a lot of counties haven't received theirs, so, because Regina said she had called around and asked several counties, so.
Okay. Any questions about that? Thanks.
Okay, sales tax for November, we're up 2.1% in the county as a whole. The Anderson County portion was up 15% this month, 571,076 compared to 496,087 last November. So sales tax was it's a good month for the county as a whole and Anderson County, a really good month for us.
Any questions on the sales tax? Okay. ARPA funds.
Okay, on the ARPA funds, you'll see some changes in this report. Everything now is in revenue loss, almost 1.6 million, 1,599,000. Other eligibilities, we do have a negative balance of 6,322, and that can be attributed to we really think some of these projects are going to come in under. We're going to have money left over, so as soon as they close out, that money will roll into that. Am I saying that correctly?
Yes.
Okay. Because, for example, we already know that the radios that we ordered, that Bryce is here, that are going to come in under the allotment we amended, that we the funds we set aside last month.
Okay.
Right, Bryce? Yeah. Yes. So 1.2 million. I think they were 1 million, maybe, or
Okay.
so. Yes, Tyler.
Oh, if you,
Oh, I'm sorry.
now, if you want to go ahead and
No,
finish,
that's all
I was going to ask a question about the radios.
Commissioner Mays.
Being under budget is good, but I would just be curious if there were other needs. I mean, I'm sure there are, but if there were other needs that are pressing, that maybe not rise to the level of the immediacy of the radios, but are darn near close second. We've allocated this money for that. I just didn't know if there were any other needs that you may have.
So I think the total for the entire radios, which included probably anywhere from 50 to 75 spare radios,
Okay.
was about 1,088,000, something like that. So there's about 142,000 left over. We still have to pay 18,000 in access fees to Tennessee Valley Regional Communication System. So that will come out of that as well. There are some things that we could probably allocate the money to, such as something to tune it and maintain the radios, but they probably wouldn't need that for another 2 to 4 years, so it'd just sit there and collect dust.
So the 18,000 to access, is that something that the 911 board could pick up? Just,
I mean, yeah, I mean, if the 911 board wanted to do that.
okay.
I would also like to advise if we wanted to appropriate the funds for any other projects, that it go back to budget committee and
Right.
commission approval, because we approved those funds for the radios specifically.
No, yeah, I was just curious.
Yeah, okay.
Just curious if he had a list.
I mean, there's several other things that we can do. I mean, I've been talking with Justin at 911. You know, one thing we didn't really think about was the schools. It kind of leaves them in the
Like the
dark.
SROs?
No, SROs
the
will be covered, but
administrators or-
the current administration uses UHF radios. So we've talked about looking into a potential of like a Wi-Fi based system. I mean, all the schools have Wi-Fi, and there's Wi-Fi radios that would tie in to our system that we're going to, so it wouldn't leave them completely in the dark. Even the main administrators, like Dr. Parrott, could use a phone app. He wouldn't have to necessarily carry a radio around with him all the time, but he would have access to all the frequencies within the schools.
Okay. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
So currently, the schools are tied into the current radio system?
They have their own.
They have their own, okay.
I mean, so the UHF system currently, they're not tied in with the public safety side of things. So the public safety has like their own set of frequencies, and the schools have their own set of frequencies. The way the new system works is it creates a talk group inside of a frequency range. So we'll have several public safety talk groups. We already have county government talk groups. So everything is kind of already set and been set for 10 plus years. It's just kind of, it was a huge hurdle to get to that point though. With the schools, it'll be a lot cheaper than it would be for our public safety side,
Yeah.
because the radios aren't as rugged.
Do we have a price tag for adding the schools?
I can get you one.
I mean, I think it might be worthwhile just if we had numbers, kind of what we're looking at, if the board's interested in hearing it.
Okay.
You know, if it's not a lot of work.
I mean, it's not it's just getting total amount of radios they currently have, and we would probably have to put a gateway and a radio in every schools. And then, of course, the bus lines would probably take up majority of it.
Gotcha. Commissioner Mao?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Bryce, you might have answered this and I missed it. How often are those fees paid?
Yearly,
So it's an annual fee of $18,000?
yes. And so currently, Anderson County is part of the Tennessee Valley system, which is, I think, 26 counties. But the entire state is on Tacking, which doesn't have any access fees. So they're already in talks of counties saying, well, why do we have to pay access fees when people in West Tennessee don't have to, or Middle Tennessee don't have to? So it's already in talks of how they can curtail that, but currently, right now, we would have to pay that. And I think the sheriff's office, you know, theirs is pretty hefty. I think theirs is upwards of high 20s, low 30s in access fees.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any other questions about radios or any other opera questions? Thanks. I did have one question for you, Brett. On the, you said the 6,000, but there might be other money that rolls back into that more than the,
Yeah.
being out of the whole 6,000.
Yes, that number is gonna be adjusted as we spend, and as new projects are approved, we can kind of realign things.
Okay.
No, I think the mayor even has an update today, maybe on the senior center. And there's gonna be, we're gonna have some money from, I think, left over from that project as well.
Okay.
And one thing that's important to, for us to keep in mind, and John and I talked about this today, is there's an allocation deadline for these funds, which we're right out a year from, so it's 12/31/25. And so after that point, if we've got unspent money, that's gonna have to go back to the federal government, so.
I will say something too that we haven't reported out on yet, but I may next month. We have quite a bit of interest we've earned from these funds as well.
Yeah.
And especially lately, we've been earning large,
And there's no restrictions on?
none of that, no.
Okay. And two, just to make sure, like, if we get to the, closer to the end and we still got money to spend, we can put it towards something in our general fund that qualifies and let that general fund money roll into the fund balance with no restrictions. Is that?
Talking about the interest that.
Well, I'm talking about
The
a
understood.
project that would qualify for the ARPA funds that we would say we normally put in our general fund balance,
Like a budget,
fund balance,
the
like
budget.
it would just roll, you're just moving money. Is that legal?
I think we would have to show we spent the funds for
Okay.
the budget, not roll into our fund balance.
We can't supplant.
Okay. Any other questions?
Real quick, have we received that big invoice yet for the inmate?
I haven't seen it.
We've got one, I think, so far, but there's many, many more coming.
Yeah, and we'll have to, yeah. I mean, we could use ARPA funds for that, too.
Yeah.
I mean, we might need all that for that.
Let's hope not. Any other questions on the ARPA funds? Okay, grants.
Okay, there are two new grants. The last two on the list, the Circuit Criminal Court Grant, Court Security Grant for $77,500, and the CDBG Food Insecurity Grant for $194,000. That's the that's the one the schools are involved with, right? So we really discussed that last month, but they're new on the list for grants. If you have any questions,
Any questions on the grants?
John can answer those.
Okay, moving on then.
All right, transfers, we have two, we don't have very much budget amendments, I'll just take these individually. The first one is, from the dental clinic, it's $1,000 increase in other contracted services from health equipment. They're gonna be shredding 102 boxes of old records that are no longer required to be kept.
Got a motion?
Second.
Got a first and a second. Any discussion or questions? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed likewise. Motion carries.
Okay, and the next one is from the mayor's office for the, it's really for the new maintenance position. We're decreasing medical insurance, $13,440, and increasing communications, $800, maintenance and repair of a building for $8,340, maintenance and repair equipment, $1,550, other supplies and materials, $2,000, and data processing, $750. It's to transfer funds to authorize purchase of a phone and computer for new maintenance personnel hire. The personnel provides services for other county buildings, EMS, HQ and stations, senior center, EMA, animal shelter, health department, solid waste. This request also transfers some funds for other supplies and materials, as well as maintenance and repair equipment, as well as funds for use as maintenance and repair. And I can tell you this money was available in the medical insurance code because when we created the budget this year, then for the fiscal year, it was a new position, and we always include health insurance at the max in case someone, carries that insurance, but this employee did not, so that money was available.
We have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Bochamp, second by Commissioner Vandergriff. Any questions or discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed likewise. Motion carries.
Okay, the next request is from the Highway Department for $500 into other charges from restricted for highway, for miscellaneous items and administration highway code.
Motion approved by second by Commissioner Wells. Commissioner Vandergriff had the motion, sorry. Commissioner Wells with the second. Any questions or discussion? All in favor say aye. Likewise, if you're opposed, likewise. Motion carries.
Okay, the fourth appropriation is from the fleet services. It's increasing. I put decrease on there. It's an increase for fleet revenue, $15,000, and increasing other contracted services, $6,000, tow-in services, $2,000, and vehicle parts, $7,000. And that revenue code has $30,133 available.
Before the 15,000?
Yes.
Okay.
We're doing things different now. We're billing, when we bill these other departments or cities, like we do ACWA, I think Rocky Top might bring something.
They used to, I don't know if they still do.
But we put it in revenue now and have to move it to their codes. We
Okay.
used to put it straight in the codes, but audit asked us to do this, to handle it this way.
Do you have a
Motion to approve, Mr.
Motion
Chairman.
approved, Commissioner Val.
Second.
Second, Commissioner Smallridge. Any questions or discussions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed likewise. Motion carries.
Okay, the next request is from EMA, Ross Kidwell, for increasing Powell Clinch Utility District, 434, $2,000, and maintenance and repair vehicles, $1,856.77, and decreasing staff development, $2,000, and insurance recovery, $1,856.77. And we have received this revenue from insurance recovery.
Motion from Commissioner Bochamp, second by Commissioner Mays. Any questions or discussion? All in favor say aye. All opposed likewise. Motion carries.
Okay, the next one is something that I attached the commission minutes where Commissioner McCamey made a motion to annually dedicate 20% of the general fund rollover. So this year, 20% of our rollover is $413,293. We're just moving it from unassigned to assigned for capital projects, which will make that balance $4,020,221.
So move.
Got a motion by Commissioner Mays to approve,
Second.
second by Commissioner Wells. Any questions or discussion?
What's the total, Robbie, in the capital projects?
It now is $4,020,221. That's what we've, I think we've just been doing this for the last 4
So there's
years.
nothing in there, right? Until this
That,
motion?
no, that, right now, it's
Is it the 640?
the 3.7 million
Okay.
assigned funds. That's basically most of that, and the 4 million, we'll make it 4 million. It's a little bit, it's that and something else, a couple of other codes combined, but most of that is that capital projects. It's in the assigned funds.
Any other questions or discussion? Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay.
If
Okay.
you look at the cash and fund balance report, it's the assigned fund column on the top row. That is, most of that is the capital projects money. There's a few other small codes in there, but the majority of that is that 4 million, will be that 4 million. Next month, it'll show 4 million something plus, so.
Any other questions, discussions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed likewise. Motion carries.
Okay, the next is from the Finance Department grant, criminal court. It's increasing revenue for administration offices of courts, the court security grant, 77,500, and increasing code 799, court security grant, other capital outlay, 77,500.
Do I have a motion?
Allocate funds for the grant.
Motion approved by Commissioner Bochamp,
Second.
second by Commissioner Smallridge. Any questions or discussion?
I have a quick question.
Commissioner Mays?
The security camera system upgrade, I guess that's being in conjunction with the sheriff's department. I mean, it's, with them being responsible for the security of the building. I just want to make sure that this is all being done kind of in coordination with them. If Captain Owens, or I think he's still over court security, but do you know if, is anybody aware that those
John,
communications have happened?
I don't have any direct knowledge as to whether I'm assuming they reached out and got bids and got information from court security as to what they would need. The judges actually were the ones that applied for this grant, and so they put those together. So I don't have any specific knowledge whether they worked with the sheriff's department directly on these. I would assume they did. They're going to need, obviously, their expertise when they're installing them anyway, but I don't have that specific
Gotcha.
information.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed likewise. Motion carries.
Okay, the next one is a transfer payroll. It's also a grant, the VCIF grant, which we already have a budget for, but we're moving 20,000 from overtime to 309 contracts with other government agencies. It's a collaborative grant with other cities, and when we pay their employees, we're not using our payroll code. We're treating it like a contract from that to that city, so we need that money to be in that code.
Do you have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Mays, second by Commissioner Bochamp. Any questions or discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed likewise. Motion carries.
Okay. The next budget amendment is an appropriation from the tourism fund for $125,000. We've kind of discussed this one several times for the contribution to the Scarborough 85 monument. We changed it up a little bit from the mayor was, and me were talking, and we decided to use the revenue that came from the capital, from the sale of the building, the tourism revenue, which is going to roll into fund balance at the end of the year anyway, and transfer that to a contributions. Um, Any questions
Your
on?
motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Wells,
Oh,
second by
my
Commissioner Mays.
fault.
I got it.
No,
Motion
sorry.
by Commissioner Wells, second by Commissioner Mays. Any questions or discussion?
Just making sure that
Commissioner Mays?
everything's been posted and.
Oh, I was going to give an update on that too. We did get it in the paper. In the county commission meeting, I'll bring a resolution to I didn't feel like I could do it this meeting yet because of the 10-day rule, but I will have a resolution to approve in county commission, and we'll be able to move forward after that.
Any other questions or discussion?
I also just want to thank Commissioner Wells for his hard work on this, and I know the committee's done a lot, but you championing this the way you have has been pretty admirable.
Can I retort to
Commissioner
that?
Wells, yep.
Thank you, Commissioner Mays. I will say it's one of the commitments I made when I stood up before y'all for the appointment was I had no agenda moving into this. This was something that got brought to me from several citizens involved, not just from one neighborhood. And this is our job. It's to fight for our neighborhoods. It's to fight for what we think we can help do to improve our neighborhoods. And I truly think this is going to be a blessing for the community. So thank you all for this is our 6th vote now. Thank you all. Obviously, thanks to the mayor's effort, we have checked our T's and dotted our I's, and a stitch in time hopefully is going to save 9 on all this. But on the 7th vote in 2 weeks, hopefully we can put this on the books. So thank you all.
I do want to comment too, apologize, because this is the first appropriation we've done that we've completed from the nonprofit committee. And there was confusion at the last county commission meeting because we had the notice 10 days in the paper, and I think we have it all figured out now, so there won't be any more problems going forward. But this one was a little tricky, and because it was the first one. But I apologize for that.
Any other questions or discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed likewise. Motion carries.
Okay, and the next is project updates from Mayor Frank in Section A.
Mayor Frank?
So actually, what I was going to do was just kind of brag on County Commission and Bryce and the Finance Office. Because of the timeliness of your approval on those radios, we knew there was going to be a discount, but the discount actually ended up being closer to 35%. And so your timeliness, Finance Office kicked it into gear. Bryce just worked his tail off and got all of that done. There were some extra hurdles that had to be crossed. So you allocated 1.25 million, and it came in, we're including that $18,797 that once they come in and registering the serial numbers and the access fees, puts you under your allocation by $142,677.50. So that can go back into your ARP funds to do other projects with. So that's really what I wanted to report on, is just thank you all for being quick about it. You saved some money, and then also thank the team for what they did there. So. And then while I'm up here, Commissioner Mays, on that grant project, my brain was a little slow there. I do know that they were working with Steve Owens on that, and then also in conversation with Brian Young. And I think a lot of the work that's in that grant is for the Oak Ridge Court, where there's some deficiencies. So I think that's kind of the majority of where that's going to go.
Good deal.
And
Yep.
you mentioned senior center, there were some apes. Can you update us on that with the savings?
So, no, we had just a tiny bit left over, but,
Okay.
yeah, but we're done,
Okay.
and.
With all phases or just?
Yes, with
okay.
everything. And so tomorrow morning, the contractors are going to meet with Matt, who is the new maintenance personnel, because I wanted to make sure, and he wants to make sure that he understands all the engineering for the drains, anything that's going to go forward where there might be an issue, how was it constructed, so we're gonna learn all about that. But we just had a couple of other outstanding issues. We had just kind of a little minor dent in the walk-in cooler door, and so we're looking at, do we want to replace that and go the distance, or can we get some kind of credit? Because it's not anything that's structural, it's not major, it's just some kind of little, the size of a pin end. So we've still got that to go, and then they were going to turn the heat up on the hot water heaters, or the hot water heater for the sink in the craft room. But otherwise, we have signed off, the punch list has been completed, and Matthew is going to build some shelves for them in this one particular storage area. And so Tuesday, we're going to unleash the Kraken and let them move over there. So you all are welcome to stop by anytime and walk through there. City has done the certificate of completion, and we are good. We're good. And it looks great. It looks fantastic. So thank you, commissioners.
Any
We'll have
questions?
something official when they get everything set up for you all, and a walkthrough and a thank you. So,
Any other questions for the mayor before she sits down? Okay, thank you, Mayor.
Okay, section B, IT purchase proposal. Brian called me today. He's ill this week, so he would like to take this off the agenda because I think there were several questions, and he wanted to answer those. And there's really he needs a little bit more money for the Microsoft Outlook Office 365. And I can't really explain it, so I would like for him to be here. So he asked if we could remove this, and I'm fine with that if y'all are.
Yep. Y'all fine with that? Okay.
Okay, and the next, on the new business, I do have four new budget amendments and one new grant application, but do I need a motion to add those, or? I've sent you all in text, except for the grant application. I handed it out tonight.
Move it. You got a motion by Commissioner Allred to add it to the agenda, add all of them to the agenda?
Yes.
Okay. Second by Commissioner Beauchamp. Any
Thank you.
questions or discussions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, likewise. Motion carries. Add them to the agenda. Under new business,
Okay, the first one is from the county clerk's office. It is $4,000 from his restricted code, 34515, into data processing equipment for a broken computer and 2 new scanners.
do you have a motion? Motion by Commissioner Beauchamp. Second by Commissioner Vandegrift. Any questions or discussions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, likewise. Motion carries.
Okay, and then the next one is a transfer from payroll for EMA, increasing part-time code $7,000 from their grant, their EMPG grant that's currently in other supplies and materials.
Do you have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Beauchamp, second by Commissioner Mays. Any questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, likewise. Motion carries.
Okay, and the next one is appropriation from the county commission for $2,000 for legal notices from unassigned fund balance. Talking with Annette, and I think but, and I confirmed this with the mayor too. The reason for the increase is we're having to notice a lot of the zoning, and it's a bigger packet in the paper, and it's
Okay.
costing us more money. So she said she was needing more extra funds for that.
Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Smallridge, second by Commissioner Val. Any questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, likewise. Motion carries.
Okay, and the last budget amendment I have is from the clerk and master Hal Cousins, increasing, I'm changing that to other contracted services, $399 for $1,500. I think that's a better code, and decreasing bound books, $499, other supplies and materials, $1,500. They need to purchase a 1-year cyber protection for a server, and this was recommended by IT and approved by Brian also, so.
We have a motion?
Hold on a second.
Motion by Commissioner Beauchamp, approved. Is that a second, Commissioner Mays? Or was the question?
Sorry, I was
Okay.
thinking out loud. My bad.
We have a second. Commissioner Wells with a second. Do we have any questions or discussions?
Hold on, I'm trying to read, I'm reading this amendment. I'm not gonna ask, because it's probably so obvious that I'll look completely ignorant.
It's never a dumb question.
To me, I don't see,
Go ahead.
so there's 3,000, I guess, in that bound books.
Yes,
Okay.
they're using 1,500 of it.
Yeah, I guess the 3,000 threw me off.
I always just put what's available in the code over to the side, just so you all know how much money they have in it.
I'm used to that in the revenue code, but it just threw me off. That's, again, I stand by what I previously
Well,
said.
you're newbie on the budget committee, it's okay.
Any other questions or
I'm
discussion?
part of the new commission.
New commissioners,
New
new
commissioner.
commissioner. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, likewise. Motion carries.
All right, and the last thing I have is an application for a grant. It's for EMS from Tennessee Risk Management Trust for $18,590, and there is no match, and it will purchase air and surface pathogen reduction system and 12 frontline ambulances and 2 portable units to use for EMS facilities during increased illness events among staff.
Do we have a motion to approve?
And this is just to apply.
Just apply. But you need a motion from us to apply,
Yes,
right?
we've been doing that.
Motion by Commissioner Wells, second by Commissioner Vandegrift. Any questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, likewise. Motion carries.
That's all I have.
Anything
Unless you have any
else?
questions for me?
Any old business? Any questions for Robbie? I'll take a motion to adjourn. Motion by Commissioner Wells. Adjourn.